Hi, it's Druid time. Let's talk about Rest of Druids and like basics what you should play. So this build is just some overall build that usually people are playing. It's not specific for any reason. It's all good for every single dungeon, not perfect for every single situation, but it's just overall good build for Rest of Druid that most people are running into dungeons. So first let's check the for the gearing. You want to know stats differently. For the just healer, you want to heal a lot. Definitely priority is haste, the first. Second is mastery. As two stats are most priority for us. Versatility is not really important here because you can just go to the bear and survive everything. So we have quite good defensive with the druid. So basically haste first, mastery second, and third one is critical strike, and last one is versatility for healing. For the damage is first haste, second is versatility, third one is critical, and the last one is mastery, because mastery is doing heal. Every single mastery on healer is for healing, not for damage, so obviously when going on damage, you don't want mastery, usually 0. If you can do that, perfection. There are also builds, you have just full critical and full versatility, but let's not talk about that. This is like basic general, let's not go there. So next things, there are definitely talents. Let's check what talents we should play. The left tree is absolutely madness. The right one is just much simpler, not much people is just playing with them, but the left one you can do absolutely everything. So let's start with the right tree. And from the right tree, this is default healing build. If you want more damage, just switch this one talent. This will provide you just your dots and bleeds are just doing damage faster than they should, or rather than faster than usual. I don't know how to say it better. So basically this is your most usual change, but you can also take Convoke and put it here when you need some defensive when you're casting Tranquility. You have options here, so 20% defensive for you, and you can a little bit play with that, but it's usually always the same. Right tree. So usually you just want to do this one with the flowers for extra healing. This is extra hot, and that means that's extra mastery because it's extra hot and very more damage. Obviously, this one is for healing too, but it's up to you. You can just, if you don't like Convoke, you can just take like better Convoke point here and just put it into a fluorescence. So this is usually what I'm playing with, and the left tree, there's focus more on casting because it's not good. I'm not doing that, but I don't like to be in the kitty because I just want to be ready to expect some damage. I don't like that kitty gameplay, so I'm just basically doing damage with the all spells. So I'm just casting what the balanced druid should be casting, and on the left tree you have just full of defensive, 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 and up down here is just some extra damage definitely, and now you should be usually best damage. Let's just check just how to play with the kitty. So basically, what else you would change? You are taking spells, so you can actually do something in the cat form. So important is Rake, Trash, and Rip. And so we are sacrificing some defensives here, but you can still be in the bear. So let's talk about possibility, like what choices you have to choose from here. Oh, let me go rather with this one, because I think most people will use this. I don't see a lot of people liking to play with the cat. Very important here, you can choose Typhon. And why is important? Because it's just knockback. It's very important on Sanguine Weeks. It's really useful when you have ghosts after the enemy dies. It's just all around, and it's another just knockback. You can just interrupt casts of enemies. So very useful and definitely worth picking up. Don't forget you can combine it with Vortex, so you can place Vortex, then you can Typhon it, and enemies will just pump away and immediately return back. So your damagers and tanks are not hating you. You are doing mess with the pack, but you interrupt enemy casts. And Cyclone is really useful when you're playing Noku offense. It's really useful for the last phase, but just communicate with your team if you really need this. It's nice to just control one art. You can just recast Cyclone when you need to. Of course, because you don't have balanced druid kick on Resto Druid. Other good choices are, I'm not using any speed, but people are usually playing Charge or Tiger Dash. It's just, I don't need it because I still feel I was Paladin main, so I still feel I have a lot of movement on Druid. But if you want, just pick this Vow Charge, it's really useful. It's up to you. Another useful stuff is you can have this extra regeneration. It's really nice survival for yourself. Big explosion on the boss, you will go to the bear, wait for the explosion, and then hit the regeneration. You will immediately top yourself up and you can continue healing your group. But you are a healer mostly for others, so up to you. Also, you can remove this nature's cure, like bonus effect, because curse is only in Temple of Jade Semperant, so you need to have there, and poison is only in Academy. So if you're not in these two dungeons, you don't need that one. So it's up. You can just spare this point and put it to Typhoon. Oh, sorry, about Habernet to Typhoon, or extra damage for caster. And when you want to just take out some talents, you can just take it from damage here, or just auto regenerate, and you can just distribute it to like Typhoon and Wild Charge. Because you first are focusing on healing when you're starting with Druid or just playing War Dungeons, or you don't want to try hard again. You basically you are always focusing on heal, and when everybody is full and happy and your dungeons are no problem, then you are focusing more and more on damage. So definitely start. You don't need definitely that one from the start, or even don't need that one, but you really want to, because it's very strong. You just use it anywhere. With using those spells, we need to always think about our mastery, because, well, in the case you are going for mastery, but let's assume you are healing, like you are a healing build and you have haste and mastery as your primary stats. So you have a lot of mastery. I think I have it for mastery. This is my also no big item level. Yeah, I have 4,000, almost 4,000 haste and mastery. And what is strong here is 14% or 14.4. And that means every hot I have on target is increasing my healing on the target by 14.4%. Any healing, it can be instant after that, because healing over time is increasing it. You can see the flies, they are still spreading. Let's talk about gameplay and abilities. So, healers don't really have rotation because you need to react what is happening around you. So healers are using priority, what you should do first, what you should do after. And with the Druid I like to start, it's not even 1, it's 0, because you don't really use it when you need to heal. You are preparing for healing. So first thing you are doing, you are just spreading your adaptive swarm. You're just going anywhere. You always use it on cooldown when you have the choice. And what is important there, because you don't want to use this ability when you actually need to heal. You want these flies to just spread and be everywhere. Okay, I didn't expect to go there, but normally you can just spread it on your group. There is just anybody, anywhere, any target. I'm next to these target dummies. So always when you have cooldown, just use it on target. If anybody have 1 or 2 stacks, that's your primary target where to use it, because it's giving 3 stacks. So 1 or 2 targets, you just put more. And you want as much stacks as possible, because the flies are spreading. As you can see, there was just like 1 fly there, but it was splitting to 2. And now I have 4 stacks. And because it's always have chance to split to 2 swarms instead of 1, if you have more stacks like this 4, if it splits, it will be 3 and 3. It was unlucky? Oh, it was? Yeah, we have 3 and 3. So you want to have as much high stacks as possible. So now it's even worth it to extend 3 stacks. I don't have time for that, so it's not good. It's now in 4-4 because they're 2 splitted by 2. So there was 2 and 2 twice, and they jumped onto the same target, so I am 4 and 4. That is why it's really important to keep it high, because you have chance to just immediately multiply it endlessly if you're lucky. So here I can use on 3 stacks, I have 5. Only use on 3 stacks if everybody else has stacks, or is your first target, because when it's first target you just really want flies to split and have 4 and 4 stacks. So it's worth it when it's your first target, or everybody else have more than 3 stacks and you just want to use it, or just using on enemy is alright. You can usually just see on our bars. You should see it on bars. So flies, when you have cooldown, just use it because they are doing nice damage, they are doing nice of healing without any much trouble, and it's really easy to keep them on. So maybe do some Vigora to see when they are ready. And you want to have as many swarms on your healing targets before you get damage and you start really actual healing. So let's move to the 1, and that's our first thing we are starting when we want to heal. Usually I am keeping life blooms even when everybody is full, but it's up to you. Yeah, I suggested it is life bloom. So we have talents, we can have 2 life blooms. One is usually on tank. If it's that knight, maybe you don't need it, but always on the targets that are getting damage. Tanks is usually getting damage, so it's nice to just keep 1 life bloom on the tank. If you're just some hard hitting AoE ability on the boss or anything that is AoE, tank is usually good, and just put it like on 2 DPS. And what is really important with life blooms, there are quite more mechanics to it. That means every hot, even if the small one, is increasing healing by a lot, and life bloom is increasing by 3 times. Life bloom is counting as 3 hots per target. So it's not increasing just 14.4% healing, they are increasing 14.4 multiplied by 3. That's why life bloom is so nice. And that's not the only reason, because then we have talent, we have verdancy, and the second one later. So when life bloom blooms, and what is blooming, it's the effect on the end. Where is life bloom? So we see it. Yeah. So it's healing 27.5 thousand over 15 seconds, and then it's big heal on the end when it's expiring. And that's the bloom. And when that happened, you are just, when somebody is standing in your efflorescence, that obviously the circle on the ground, and life blooms, it heals a lot more. It's in reality is like 60 to 80k, not like 10,000 what is showing there on the talents. But we have also this beautiful talent, photosynthesis. And the second part is, while life bloom is on ally, your periodic heals on them have 4% chance to cause it bloom. What does that mean? When you are healing targets with life bloom, with your huts, it's just blooming, it's healing that targets a lot, but it's processing verdancy really, really often. And that is amazing way just to heal AoE. Like, apart from wild growth, verdancy is your best way to heal AoE, so you just basically have 2 life blooms on 2 targets, and you are healing mostly that 2 targets, so it's processing that verdancy to whole group, and it's like combo. When you are applying a life bloom, there's also important, that the flies, where the stacks are getting lower, you can also bloom it like a little bit sooner. And when timer gets to 4 seconds, even my add-on will show it different color, and it's now red. When I use it, it's immediately bloom. It was a little bit bad to show it on my slow because we don't see heal. So it's just healing, 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 healing. So let's wait for the bloom. And it's low. I stuck it, and there was technically 6,000 instead of just 3,000. Because so when it's like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, you can just reapply it. It's usually with healing add-ons like healing UI. The number just get different color, and we see that 4 became red. And we can just reapply it, and the bloom is already activated. So you don't really need to wait for last second or just expire it to get the bloom. So we can just force it sooner when you need to heal right now, or you can just restack life bloom on the end. This is 5,000. So life bloom, basic of life bloom, they are giving lots of heal by itself. They are getting 3 stacks of mastery instead of 1 like normal hot. And third thing, they are processing verdancy for every single person that is standing inside your efflorescence circle, who is synchronized on the ground, by every single healing over time on the targets. So I can just put a lot of hots on them, and every single hot what is on them have chance to just proc bloom. You'll also hear it. I don't know how loud it will be on video, but it's just blooming really often. It's just making sound. And this is usually showing bad, but you check overall. Yeah. And my most healing is just verdancy. because I had 2 life blooms and I put circle on the ground. This is just 6 times it brought, and it was my best healing. So basically 1 life bloom is just healing of life bloom. The second life bloom is just like these blooms. It's showing really badly because this healer target damage is not really showing how fight what was really here, but that's basically what you can see when you're healing AoE, and it's not Valgrove here because it didn't hit anyone. Don't worry, this is just throwing badly, but usually when you're healing over your whole group, like AoE healing, like the Life Bloom, Verdancy, and Valgrove is your just first 3 spells. So just don't take it seriously what you see there. It's not really what happened. After we got Life Bloom, and obviously other abilities you want to combine, but usually when you are healing you just have HOTS on the targets, but just focus on that, just to have more HOTS on life blooms, because usually that persons have more health than others, but they are healing, you are healing others through them, and of course everybody's standing in a circle. So think about that, you can overheal the targets with more HOTS, that's so you get procs for your other group from Verdancy. So obviously second ability what you should use after Life Bloom is your circle. If you are not moving few seconds and you know you need to heal, it's just always good to move it. Or just place it and then move it, obviously, but like, I don't know, internet saying if you don't move for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, it's just, let's not say all that. You will just get hang of it, like how often you want to move it, or usually when you have placed some packs that are just dealing damage to tank and you don't really need, and yeah, just few HOTS on the tank, just put Life Bloom, you just put another Scenario Ward, and your tank is good and don't need to place AoE, so it's up to you. Even the tank is standing like whole minute on the same place, basically don't need it. You will get hang of it, but usually when AoE damage is expected and your group will be standing at least few seconds in the group, it's worth it to just place it on the ground. And usually when your group won't be moving for a short time, at least always place it, because it's cheap. I see some logs I was checking and Fluorescence was first in the healing, so I was okay, maybe maybe that ability is really good. But literally there was like 26 key and first in the healing for just this AoE. Not some ability, not Valgrove, not Vibum, just this circle on the ground. It healed the most. That was quite fun when I was seeing it, but logs don't lie. So after that is Scenario Ward, because usually when you have some short cooldown, some abilities on cooldowns is usually better than without cooldowns, obviously, you know. It's cooldown, so we don't use it too much. So with Scenario Ward, it's equal from talent, you don't really need to have it, you can just choose evidence, but Scenario Ward is really strong, even in talent is healing a lot. On paper, in reality, it's healing even more, and what we like there, you can apply it and it will wait for the damage. So that application is 30 seconds, so basically you can always have some person ready, but you usually want to use it on cooldown if you don't know exactly where to use it, and if you know exactly where to use it, I don't know, hard tank hits, just is extra hot, so it's increasing your mastery, it's healing nicely, and it's cheaper mana. What else do you want? It's just 4600. So using on cooldown on tank, or somebody is getting damage, if you're expecting somebody to get more damage or somebody don't have defensive or some phase of the boss or something, you just need to pop up single target, immediately use it there. For other things we want to use, it's depend if single target or AoE damage. So let's talk about AoE damage. That's usually what happens in dungeon. Well, single target is usually tank, but it happens. Sometimes you're healing single even targets. Yeah, there are some mechanics. So Valgrove immediately is 10-second cooldown, so immediately you cast it when you see AoE damage in your group. Just Valgrove. Immediately Valgrove. And what you want to do is you usually have Sweet Melt. It's just 15 seconds, so it's not exactly the same cooldown. But usually you want to have, like, I don't know, some rejuvenation, or you have some spread regrowth, so you can just eat it. You will get soul to the forest, and that means your regeneration, we are not usually using this for regeneration. We are using it usually for wild growth, and its mean is 40%, 50% stronger. So now we have empowered and regrowth. It's just much better. Oh, of course it's decreasing. I didn't check it too soon. Oh, wild growth healing is decreasing as the timer is decreasing. So wild growth to go AoE healing, and usually then you will have chance just use Swift Melt, even have rejuvenation ready just because you will use Swift Melt. It's worth it to just place the rejuvenation before you lose that. Just, I don't know, let it go for a few seconds and you know you will be healing AoE, then you eat a rejuvenation and you will get empowered by growth. Wild growth is absolutely madness in AoE healing. But if you need healing single target, there's regrowth, obviously. And there we have also talents for regrowth, should keep it in mind. So this is what we're looking for. You have more critical chance when already the target have regrowth. And another talent is when you apply regrowth on target that don't have life bloom, it's spreading on targets on life bloom. Obviously there is healing over time increase, but that's not really important. And why is it important? Because you can spread life bloom, then you will have procs of clear casting. If you have clear casting of regrowth, just put it on the third guard. Now I have it. So that means your regrowth is free. Let me apply 5 moves again. So my regrowth is free, and even if everybody is full, I just like to use it. It's costing no mana. I just like to apply it, so I can have just regrowth on the other groups, and that means I have another hot that is picking on my life bloom target, and that is pressing the bloom. That's first thing, and second thing, it's counting towards mastery, so it's increasing my healing by 14% with my mastery. It's not only amazing just like these blooms on the target, it's also amazing like regrowth hot is not really good, so it's good to eat it. It's Swift Melt and use it for wild growth. Thanks. Just profit. And the last one, not least, you have rejuvenation. You don't want to use it, but it's good to use it. What's there? Rejuvenation have also the talent, cultivation. When below 60%, there's also applied cultivation is really healing absolutely nothing. But what is important with this hot, it's just 2600. Oh, it's increased, but like mastery and stuff. But what is really important is counting towards our mastery, like the procs of the extra healing with extra hot on the target. So rejuvenation we are using when somebody is just dying too much and you need some extra healing, so your life bloom target. When you have life bloom target, you have scenario one on it, you have usually regrowth on it, and you don't really need to cast regrowth because it will just mana out. So just use your beautiful regrowth, rejuvenation, and you'll get fruits of cultivation. That's 40% increase healing for nothing, twice even. And rejuvenation is not really bad spell, but it's just healing slowly. But it's healing a lot and is effective. So we are usually good enough to heal with other targets, with the other spells. But rejuvenation is when you need to put just something more. If it's not enough what you have, or you are preparing for a lot of AoE damage and will be combining with your cooldowns, so just spread rejuvenation on your targets, or you just want extra blooms on life blooms, just spread it on your level targets. So it's like just this super heal. It's not really like you go to healing this spell, but it's just healing your house, just rotation. Just I don't know to explain this one, but rejuvenation is just this special little place. Obviously, I'm talking about Mythic Plus content. I'm talking about the raid. So it's just something extra when other things are not enough, if I can say it like that. And obviously it's good on low targets to just pump it your extra healing, because these were just extra hot. It's not what will heal your target, but what will help you heal other spells on the target. So it's just mastery increase and another hot, and you can eat it using light growth. Let's just put it like overall together, what I just said. So we are preparing adaptive swarms to just be ready for healing. It's increasing your healing speed and it's also healing by zone. is also doing some damage. So always on cooldown. If anybody don't have 5 stacks, then you can just skip and don't use it, but it's usually not happening. So use it on cooldown to be prepared for damage. And immediately you will go from Life Bloom, you can keep it at least on tank, and most of the times. And first thing you are just spreading on people, just Life Bloom, you can just, I'm usually just keeping 2 Life Blooms all the time. It's just how I like it. The second thing, you are placing Circle. After that, you need AoE, you are casting Vigrowth, you need more single, you are casting Regrowth. Regrowth is just more faster if you just need a little bit more healing, but you have time, you can just use Rejuvenation. It's cheaper for your mana, you don't need to cast it. If you need to heal the target right now, you go for Regrowth. That's from spells, but there are not only spells, we have cooldowns. Let's talk about cooldowns. Most amazing cooldown on the Druid is Flourish. And what is Flourish doing? It's increasing your healing over time by 100%. That's amazing, and it's increasing duration of hots on the targets by 8 seconds. And what is special on this extension is obviously it's nice when you're healing spells, you don't need to up a new one, it will extend. Like the Vigrowth, its healing is decreasing over time. So when you increase duration of Vigrowth, it's healing like a truck. So it's best thing when you want to use your Flourish is usually when you're using it with Vigrowth. Usually Vigrowth is enough to just use some. You will eat Swift Melt, Empower Vigrowth, and after that we will bust Flourish, and Vigrowth is just pumped up. It's healing a lot. It's usually, as I'm saying, it's usually even worth it just place Vigrowth as only thing you will do. As only thing you will do with the Flourish. But you can, of course, you will want to have some Life Blooms there and maybe some Rejuvenation if you have time. If you have time to apply Rejuvenation on every 5 targets before Flourish, it's just nice little extra. Another cooldown is Convoke. So we are, in this build we are playing this better one. When you don't have this better one, you don't know, it's RNG, so just use it when you feel like you need a little more healing, just use it. A little more damage, just use it. It's RNG, so you can't really count on it. But when you have this improved one, we are using it like little Flourish, because we are hoping we are getting pros of Flourish when we are casting that Convoke. Because when we have that talent, it's shorter, but we have chance to use better spells in that cast. And obviously Flourish is one of the better spells we can get there. It's shorter, it's not as good, it's not extending as much time on the HOTS, but it's enough to just cast your Vigrowth, cast Convoke to it, and when it procs the Efflorescence, when it procs Flourish, it's just nice top up for your whole group, so we can use it for your whole group when you heavy damage, but don't count on it. When you don't get that Flourish procs, it's not that strong. It's Convoke, it's energy, so just have fun with it. With Convoke, I just say have fun with it, and you'll find its use, because it's hard to say where is best to use when you don't know what it will do. Another basic cooldown is Nature Swiftness. Just usually what you are using it, click it, and your Regrowth is instant and is healing much more. So you can just immediately pop up stamina. When somebody is really dying, somebody is really dying, I need to really top him, I will eat some hot. So that means my Regrowth is 150% stronger. I will increase it by 100%, and it's instant. Bam, 149. That was not even critical. It's here. It's just mess. Never showing anything. As much it. We seen the number. It was not even critical, because it was in small letters. It was 150,000. Without critical, it was 300,000. But early pump. When you had Life Bloom, you have increased healing, and when you have more hot on the target, you will eat something else. It's a really strong combo. So don't forget about that. When you need early pump somebody single target and you have that ready, bam bam bam, peaceful, you're happy. Also second use, you can use Nature Swiftness is to just with Rebirth. It's combat dress, is useful. Click it, click combat dress, everybody is happy. Your target is full and resurrected. you can continue fighting. Might be wiping, but you rest. You did your job as healer. Lots of our cooldowns are Tranquility. It just massive AoE healing. Everybody knows DRUID's Tranquility. It's absolutely madness in the raid, but in the dungeons, it's finally increased by 100% in the dungeons, so it's much more useful. But it's not as good because this healing is usually take longer time, and usually in dungeons you need to heal right now. But it's still really good. It's a lot of range. It will have a lot of range. Whatever, I didn't say that. It has potential, but usually when you some healing some explosive, like burst damage, like first boss in Azure Vault, you need to. It's first explosion, then it's immediately second explosion, not immediately, few seconds, and you really need to top up your group. You need to start casting Tranquility before that first explosion, because when you start casting Tranquility after, the healing over time with Tranquility is increasing with cast. So you just need to precast it, because after you finish your Tranquility, that's when this Tranquility healing the most, and you want to start healing as soon as possible to top your group. So let's say that Tranquility on your targets, we have stacks and it's increasing. It's increasing as long as I'm casting. And bam, this is 5 stacks and this is full power of Tranquility. And it's casting by... How long is casting? It doesn't show, it's few seconds. So when you're expecting some big explosion and to really fast heal, just precast it to be ready. So we can give combo, just start casting Tranquility. Obviously we have some HOTS on the target, so start casting Tranquility, finish casting Tranquility, you can eat it. Or you can eat some HOTS you have ready before. Then use Wild Growth, and you finish with Flourish. You'll get extended Wild Growth, you can get extended Tranquility, and your group is just enjoying their full HP. So basically, maybe like talking with your group when you use some cooldowns or thinking about yourself with explosion on the boss, with AoE massive damage you will be healing with Tranquility. It's usually when you don't have Flourish. So usually when you're healing, I don't Stormy Boy in the Knockout offense. On the first storm you are using Flourish. On second storm you are using Tranquility, maybe with Convoke. And the third storm you are using Flourish again. So basically your filler between your Flourishes, because Flourish is in and tools, it's just your best cooldown for your group. Even our single targets is really useful. Definitely we are talking about damage. All heroes since a Legion DLC, just they are expected to do damage. And I don't really like the damage because you need to pay a lot of attention to it, you need to click a lot of stuff, and it's just filling your mind. But basically for the caster, when enemies are stuck together, you are starting just using it with the Sunfire. If they are not stuck yet, you are definitely starting with the Moonfire. You are just clicking one by one, spreading Moonfire. I don't want to tab here because there's a lot of targets around. And you are spraying hot. When they get together, just use a Sunfire, because Sunfire is a little bit mana heavy, so you don't really want to spread it one by one. So just one cast from the whole group, so you save your mana. Because Sunfire is just 6000 mana, it's usually healers don't use as much mana intensive damage spells, but they have Sunfire. So when group is stuck, Sunfire, and they are just stacking, start with Moonfire, but when they're stuck already, start with Sunfire, then Moonfires. So we have now HOTS, and then if you have Star Surge, I don't have it. You can see it here, but Star Surge extra, then it's always use it on cooldown, it's just extra damage, it's really nice. And after that, you are starting your cast abilities. So we have Sunfire because they're stacked, spreading Moonfire. Everybody have Moonfire, and I have 2+ targets, so I'm just spamming Starfire, and that's it. That's it with caster. If you have just one target, you are just casting Wrath. But when you have 2 and more targets, Starfire. One target, you are casting Wrath. So you are just choose between AoE and Sigil, between these two spells, and we're applying these 2 dots. So applying Sunfire to everyone, Moonfire to everyone. If you have this little Star Surge, we are using it on cooldown, and then we are just filling our time to casting Starfire or just Wrath. And when we have Kitty, there's a little bit more. That's how I don't like it. Let's get to Kitty build. So in Kitty we have these 3 important spells. We have Rake, we have Trash, we have Rip. And we are not starting in the kitty. We are starting applying HOTS on the range. We are starting with this. Put it all. Then we get, it will drop down. You just me demonstrating it, so don't take it. This is like real rotation. You will get to the kitty. You will overstretch, because stretch is applying dots to whole group. And then we are just, if you can, touch as many targets as you can. We are just generating a points. Of course, obviously, you need to pay attention for your energy. So don't overdo it, because then you will need to cast Rip and just spend your combo points. And usually this is on biggest target, because you will spend lots of combo points there. But usually just making trash, spread some rakes to get combo points, play some Rip, and it's time to just get back to the caster form, start applying the Moonfires. And in this build, we have also, like, the Head of the Wild is for 45 seconds, and it's basically increasing like magical damage in balance, increasing psychical damage, well, in feral form. So when we want to pump damage, immediately we are using the Head of the Wild with this kitty form. And obviously, when we have every single hot, or rather dot, we have applied, so but I don't want to do it the whole time. Let's apply these left is we have combo point, we have Rip. Then we're going back to the form, and we're just casting. You're not staying in the kitty. And every hot, I'm always mistaking. Every dot, hot is healing, dot is damaging. And every damaging dot is on the place, you are just standing in the distance. Oh, you don't even want to melee, you're just feeling it with cast. You are not standing in the kitty and just applying auto attacks, because you not really do that much damage. And after that, you are just applying these hots multiple times. But that's why it's really nice to, my Vigora is a little bit busted now. It should be showing my energy. So when I'm not in cat form, I see how much energy I have, and then I'm ready to go on cat form, because I know all my energy regenerated, I can go back. But it's regenerating so fast, so you don't really need it. When you just cast few spells and you go back to kitty, you have 100 energy. So don't think much about it. And we have Nature Video. It always applies to both damage types. You want to always use this when you are healing a lot. It's just too good to just macro it with Flourish. Because when you are healing with Flourish, you are pressing it when you need a lot of heals. And then when you use that ability, that you are doing damage with your heals. When you are pressing cooldowns for healing, obviously you are doing a lot of healing, so we are going a lot of damage. So if you don't want to think about it, just put it together on the same macro, and so when you cast Flourish, this is off cooldown, so we can just cast it in one click. You can cast these 2 spells. Now you are healing with Flourish. I have no HOTS, so it's not doing damage. But now when you press Flourish, you will immediately start this damaging ability, and you're just doing passive damage. You don't even know about it, because you are healing, and that heal is doing damage. How much? It's 20% of healing is doing damage, so it's amazing. And usually you have full brain, oh, something is happening, my group is getting a lot of damage, I need to heal. And that's not why it's nice to macro it with your Flourish. You don't need to think you are healing when you are pressing Flourish, so win-win. I guess that's all I want to say. If you want some more information, or rather not more, but in written form, I have this written on my Discord, so it's link under the video. And also link import a link on this talents build. You can play with it. And anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye.